All right, cool. So we're live now. So I'm Joe Tolliver. If you guys didn't know, this is broadcasting on both Facebook currently as well as on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit a like on that and then follow, please. Obviously, we don't have anyone jumping on yet, but when you guys do, please jump on it and follow us on there. So yeah, so some things are changing, some things are shifting. No fault of anybody really. No one's like no one. I'm not angry at anybody. It's just I think it's important to get the record straight on some things so that people don't get the wrong impression about things or whatever else. I'm gonna wait for Jill, a battle of mine, to jump on. I'm going to just do a couple of shares on this just so it gets out. Let's see here. I should probably, if I was a good host, I would already be in a position where I would do this easily, but, you know, I'm weak. All right. There's a couple of places. Sci-fi. All right. So I'll put this out to a few places because I want this to get out, kind of where Comics Cast is going next. So Comics Cast is a lot of different things. Comics Cast dabbles in some different thing. Hey, what's up, Justin, man? Justin obviously is just a total beast, and his IP is you got to go check out his stuff. So like, number one, I just wanted to say, like, I am really grateful for where we're at. We've been doing this for months. You know, Gerald's probably better at, could probably tell you how many months we've been doing this at. It seems like it's been a long time. We don't get paid for what we do at Comics Cast. That is not the expectation to charge anyone that we support or build up their platforms. We are here for the sole purpose of unifying our platforms, unifying our voices as indie creators, and helping everybody sell content so that they can keep making content, because that's what the dream is, right? Everyone at Comics Cast is at some form or another an artist, so we believe in that, the indie drive, in the grind. So we believe in all that. That's what we do at Comics Cast. I try, for the most part, I've always put myself in a position where I put myself kind of in the back of the space, and I make sure other people shine. I am an artist. I love what I do, but I do have 15 years of experience with media creation. So this is what I can help the community with right now, building these platforms. So that's been the focus. But I have been incredibly blessed to have the knowledge that I have, that I've had the experience that I've had to be able to put this together. Blessed that I've had amazing people that have been co-founders of Comics Cast with me. Thanks, brother. What's up, William? Here, I can see these comments. You guys might not be able to, so let me go ahead and throw these up. Thank you very much. Hey guys. So the people that have helped get to this point. But the biggest one, I want to make sure that that a huge thank you before he even gets on is Gerald. Gerald has painstakingly followed my lead on this thing, supported decisions that I've made, good, bad, or indifferent. I've brought people on that were, what's up? What's going on? Howdy, brother. All right. You know, I've made bad decisions. I think all businesses, you sort of deal with good, bad decisions as you kind of go through. So it's been rough. It's been hard. There's been a lot of times where I wanted to give up what we were doing, to give up. I never really gave up on the dream. I always just figured different ways. Oh, man, one of my favorite people. You need to jump on this stream. Probably should start shooting some invites in. What's up, Ryan? God, I need a personal person just to push on comments. No, I'm happy you guys are in. I'm happy you guys are saying hello. It absolutely makes me feel really good that I can get on this thing and talk to you guys, and people want to get on it and chat. So I really appreciate it. Keep asking any questions as I go through. If you guys want me to clarify anything, we'll do. So it has been brought up to my attention. I do hold a little bit of a tight ship on this thing. Hey, what's up, Sean? You know, Larry brought it up earlier. I jumped on his show and said hello. He said, you hold a tight ship. The thing is that I want to make sure that when we cast a net, we cast the biggest net that we can. So I guess I'm the Disney of indie streamers, right? What is Comics Cast? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely clarify that. I was asked this question. So Comics Cast right now, in its current form, is a platform to have indie creators, artists, writers come on. We have different platforms, different channels, or sorry, not channels, different shows to reach as many people as we can, to have people do art live with a host, to have artist roundtable, to discuss their programs, to discuss projects they're working on, to really just push their creations to try to sell as much product as they can to help them out. It is a way to synchronize and work all the different indie creators together, but it's also a way to synchronize the indie creators together, but also a way to get the audience, to tighten the audience, the different fragments of audiences that all these indie creators have that have been building their stuff, their own specific business for so long, that they have these great, strong fan bases. But the problem is they're pockets of fan bases. So what I wanted to do was tie all these fan bases together. Now, when we started this, worked really closely with How to Draw Comics. They were absolutely great. But anyway, so with building those fan bases and tightening up, what happened was when we first started doing this, there wasn't anybody that was doing what we were doing. So we started working with How to Draw Comics, and we tried to figure out, how can we work with your guys's. They have massive following. I think they're in like 50,000 followers or whatever. We were at maybe 1,000, maybe 2, right? So we're almost at 5,000 now, and we're trying to push to 10. And the reason why 10 is the magic number, if anyone knows, is because 10 is where Facebook allows you to start running ads. And I want to make sure that we can, when we start running these things, that we can make the platform work for us. So that's really what we're doing. We're trying to build these different platforms. We have it on Facebook. We have it on YouTube, and we are building our website up that will eventually turn into an app. So why are we doing all that stuff? I also forgot to Comics Cast is also to highlight, promote, and to work with actual established artists from DC and Marvel and some other ones, right? So that's been great. It's really worked well. I've made great connections. Other ones have made great connections. But what happened was, and I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, right? So what happened was we were the only game in town, really, that was doing this on Facebook. And then everybody started doing it because obviously during the pandemic and people had a lot of time on their hands. That's Gerald saying it'd be on about 5 minutes. I got you, man. So he was just working on a show that we'll talk about for tomorrow. We've got a show with Alton and his crew for actually my show tomorrow, which is going to be Artist Roundtables will be the big return because I just finally got all my system back up and running. And then so that'll be awesome. And then the next day will be Let It Out with his artists. So this will be some really cool stuff coming up. All right, let me read this off because Ryan sent me a big one here. It says, in order for me to create my own comic book, I have to come up with a storyline, invasion scene, bonding scene. Wow. Okay. Training scene and kidnapping scene for a comic book. Yes, that is correct. That is true. That is true. All of that, everything you said was correct. I think you were saying, yeah. So you want to create your own. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put the first one up, right? So he says, I plan on creating my own DC characters and DC superheroes in the future and someday. Okay, so what you guys came on, I just want to make sure I clarified, and I got asked a question about Comics Cast. So I want to clarify what we're doing. So that all happened. Then we had to move and shift. Things had to make a change because so many people were starting to do streams. So what we did is then we kept doing what we were doing, but I started looking at ways to incorporate other streamers because I wanted to, again, tighten the community and not have us break off into all these small little sections where in the indie community, what we do is we we fight over these scraps here, we fight over those scraps there, and for some reason, there's so much competition. We fight amongst each other for no good reason when we can be unifying our fan bases. So I saw that happening. I saw these different streamers kind of coming up, and if you talk to streamers, most of them will say, yeah, Joe probably contacted me at some point. It was like, hey, you want to jump on? Because I wanted this to be an international platform. I've had people from all over the world on this platform, from Britain and other places, and I love it. I love that. That's, to me, it really makes sense. So it went from trying to just highlight indie creators to unifying also the voices on one, almost like a channel, right? And that's kind of where the madness sort of came in, right? So the madness was Pops and I kind of grew up in the same space. We sort of worked out and grew up sort of building our channels at the same time. He was really focused on organic, and I was building ads and putting all the shows on and doing all this sort of stuff. So I was doing all this and adding a lot of content. And I was seeing them do these cons, and I was like, man, this is really cool. Con's great. They're bringing all these voices in. They're doing okay, but they've got some limitations. You know, the platform that they have, the StreamYard limitations that they had. So I started looking at that and looking for ways that I could help out. And it was a natural progression to sort of move that content over to ComicsCast. So that all being said, that was pretty natural. We moved on. So I continued to create ads for it and all that sort of stuff. And we just kept building that platform. So the biggest thing with that, with the CRoM CON, is I think we did 2 on ComicsCast. It worked out really well. So I was very happy with it. We saw massive improvements each time. So it was really developing well. And I'm sad to see it go. I look at it as I guess a necessary blessing to sort of see it leave, because if you guys see any of my Facebook posts, I was diligently building a website to really focus on building a con that is very interactive, walking away from the streaming cons and really finding a way to get an engaging artist alley, get an engaging what do they call, cosplay creations, as well as like doing things that would then cause people to, like, you know, prizes and get like guest people on to like judge the cosplay, or working with making it as interactive as possible, getting that main stage up where we can get some big artists on there. The next one we were looking at was David Finch, who was really working with Jimmy Reyes, who's been fantastic from the beginning for us, really working our ass off to make sure we promote him. But he's been so great from the very beginning, bending over backwards to help us out. So he's got a great show on YouTube. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. But yeah, CRoM CON was fun. How many concepts have you taken part? I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, man. You're going to have to reword that. Not sure that you're meaning, brother, from Ibram. Yeah, I'm just not sure. So yeah, so that was building up, putting in a lot, invested a lot of time, invested a lot of money into it. And it just didn't work out. So for me, I guess I will go down the things that that can get me a little hot, right? So I do, I guess, have a tight ship a little bit, but only because I want to make sure that what we create are family friendly. You know, if you want to create like a PG-13R show, then you go off and you do that. You know what I mean? Like I got no problems with it, and I'll curse on your show all day long. I'm in, you know, I've been in the military for a while. You know, I curse pretty bad. My father was a Navy guy, so cursing is a part of my whole DNA. So I got no problem with cursing. And just I wanted to make sure that on this platform, you know, we get to make sure that we don't get demonetized. We keep moving forward. We don't have YouTube or somebody else getting on our cases. So I just wanted to make sure it was as clean as possible. That's all. But there are some things that I personally find are just unacceptable, and I'll make sure that I talk offline to somebody about it. So the things that sort of happen, right, that caused this all to start going downhill, and I want to make sure that it gets put on record. I talk to everyone about it, and it's just out there, and we're done, right? So I agreed, and I like the Wheelers. We had a good time. You know, we agreed on a lot of stuff. We wanted to move forward in the same direction. I love the entrepreneur spirit that they've got, and I really found sort of a kindred spirit with them. So there was so we were moving forward, and I was falling behind. They were really pushing their website, like they were dominating their website, but it was also sort of their world that they knew, right? I'm not a web designer, and thankfully Mike helped me out a lot building CRoM CON's Comics Cast website. He was a phenomenal influence, helped me out a lot, at least getting kind of started on it, right? And then I finally started picking up speed once I had some time to sit down and learn it. You know, I literally had to learn how to build a website because I just did not feel comfortable dropping another $300, $400 getting somebody else to fix it up. So I had to learn how to do it. So I was falling behind, and it is what it is. I fell behind, and they were, you know, chugging right along, ready for their launch date. So my media content was basically, our agreement was I was going to help them with their media arm. I was like, there's no reason not to. I love what they're doing. I think it's going to be, the crowdfunding idea is phenomenal, getting it in stores. So I was like, I'm going to help you guys out as best as I can. So we needed the website up, fell behind on that. This is where one of my peeves comes in, right? Professional peeves. So what happened was, on CRoM CON, where I was financing it and basically producing it, right, on Comics Cast, they came on and then insulted me on the show because I was running behind the website. And that's really kind of what sort of, I slept on it for a while. Like I sat on it. I didn't want to freak out, but I was like, that's really low. You know, that's not okay. I just think that when you do something like that, you don't want to like air your dirty laundry in public when you're working with partners. So one of the things, that was one of them. So and that was kind of the catalyst that kind of knocked everything out of whack. And that's why we stopped working together. But that was sort of the last straw. The thing that happened before that was, the issue was that I wasn't communicating exactly the way somebody else wants me to when I'm marketing them. I personally, I will love to market for everybody, but I don't want somebody to tell me exactly how I'm supposed to do it for them. And so my concern is that it's not working. I love what they're doing. I just personally, as a business owner, I don't want somebody else's business to tell me how I'm supposed to speak. So that was sort of like, okay, we need to maybe shift what we're doing here and move in another direction because this isn't going to work. At that point, I wasn't even angry. It was really the point where I was thrown under the bus at a live show on my own platform, and that's not okay. So I brought it up. It said it's not acceptable. It's totally unacceptable. You know, this is dirty laundry. You keep it in house. And that was the end of it. And I walked away, did some other stuff, came back, and it was just like, hey, we don't want to work with Comics Cast anymore. I said, okay. You know, and I talked with Pops, and I was like, look, Pops, whatever you guys do is whatever you decide to do. It's up to you guys. But for me, I'm going to keep promoting because I believe what you guys are doing. I just don't want to be told how to talk. I don't want to be told how to speak. So I don't care. You guys promote people off of your crowdfunding site all you want. I'm not going to tell you who to promote. I'm going to keep doing your CRoM CON. So on my side, I was like, look, do you guys keep doing what you're doing? And what ended up happening was it got pulled anyway. And so it is what it is. It got pulled out from us. I'm amazingly disappointed it got pulled because I think we have so many great guests. The hosts are phenomenal. It was really going in a great direction. We were building it from the ground up, and it was going to turn into something really great. So the real disappointment I have about this, and the reason why I'm disappointed, is because at no point up till now it was discussed about taking it off. And I think that there's some, and this is sort of my last pet peeve about this, is it's just not very professional. And that's what bothers me about it. So like, if you're working with a partner on something, like, to just sort of say, oh, I'm just going to, you know, I'm done. I don't like something that you did. I'm going to pull the whole entire thing. And I don't like what you're doing. Okay. Well, yeah, so there's two ways I can see it. you were really upset and you're taking your platform and I really offended you and I can apologize. Be like, you know what? I apologize. Or I can look at it this way. And I'd rather look at it the first way. But the second way is also a possibility. Or you realize that I spent a bunch of money, spent a bunch of time, and my team spent a bunch of time promoting, building graphics, building content for your page, putting eyes on your page. Because the last we had 30,000 people reach in 3 days, and we had over 6,000 people watch it live. And then the madness decided, oh, we're gonna pull it after that, and they're receiving hundreds of followers in a few days. So that does bother me. Just professionally kind of bothers me a little bit. But this Comics Cast is going another direction. That's why the whole CRoM CON thing was pulled. It is what it is. We're going to survive. I'm going to keep promoting everybody. It's a little bit weird just kind of talking to myself on this thing. I was hoping that Gerald would be here by now, but that's okay. I like that you guys are all on. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. It really is an open forum. Hey, what's up, man? I got yo from Armando, and I got what's up, sir? Thank you much. I appreciate you guys being on. I really do. And I want you guys to keep doing great things at CRoM CON. I don't want this to be like, I think the biggest issue right now that bothers me is that we were building something really great as a community. We were all coming together, which was what my dream was to begin with. And I could really see that we were picking up momentum. That's why I was making all those posts. I want to leave you in the back room, Gerald. You know, pop in and then just, I don't know, I'm going to pull him in. And I want you guys to keep doing great things at CRoM CON. I don't want
you got to turn off your.
I think the biggest issue right now. I muted you. All right, you're good. Jim says hi. Oh, JP. Oh, my God, man. One of my longest and oldest fans. Well, he's not my oldest fan. One of probably my younger fans. Yeah. Can you hear me okay, Joe? You good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man. Hey, so yeah, I just basically went down to laundry lens. So, geez, Louis biscuits. Yeah, so basically, Pops, he's kind of jumping in here. The gist of it is I talked about financing the cons, building the cons, and what bothers me is that the response is I didn't ask you to pay for it or anything like that. Well, that's not the point. The point is that we're all building these platforms. We're all building spaces to have all of us grow. So it's not going to be a tit for tat show. That's the only thing I'm really going to address if he's going to keep typing away. Whatever. I don't think anyone owes me anything. I think it's just professional courtesy to not pull a show after somebody's been helping you out for months. So it's all good. Moving on. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about how we got to this point from the beginning, Gerald. My biggest thing is I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's got us to this point. And I'm terrible with names, and I don't want to say somebody's name the wrong way. Let's see, who do we have on that's right now that's still with us? We've got yourself, me, and
Jason, who's my partner in crime with Let It Out. But and we got I think even with Rick is still with us as well. He just has some professional things that he wanted to pursue, and it just happened to be conflicting.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Rick did a good job. I mean, the biggest thing is it's tough because, you know, no one here gets paid. This is all working on the idea that this dream is going to take off at some point, and we'll all be okay.
Well, I mean, I think that the allure of me wanting to come join Comics Cast. I mean, if we were doing this for money, I don't think we would be here still. I mean, I think that the whole point of Comics Cast for me was to promote the independent creator, to get eyes on their properties, to be an outlet to just expose them to a wider audience. Because, frankly, I mean, I was just talking with some with one of the guys that was with us from the very beginning. That one of our first guests was Alton. And, I reflect on this year, and it's hard to believe it's September now, but when this pandemic hit and, it changed the landscape of comics, and just, we happen to be there, to be thankfully be a voice, an outlet, to be able to promote these creators. And that's what I'm thankful for. It's sad that I guess some of these things happened. And, as somebody who witnessed it, kind of being somebody from the outside looking in, I'm kind of saddened by it, but I think that we're all here to promote and to, help each other and lift each other up. And just, I think that's what we need to focus on. We just need to be positive. And hearing what's this side, I'm going to call it side drama. It's just side drama. I think the goal and the intention of all of us is, whether it's, the madness or with the Wheelers and things like that, is that our goal is the same. We all want to be able to promote the independent creator. There's all sorts of vehicles that are out there. It'd be nice if we were all unified in that, but I think that that's still the intention. And I think Comics Cast mission is still going to remain the same, and that's why I'm here, still on your ship, still being a part of Comics Cast. All right. We want to keep that.
Well, tell everybody what our shows are this weekend.
Well, we still are keeping. I think we've tried to expand our reach and to have a diverse programming, and I think that we still have kept to our core shows, which are on the weekends, and that would be the ART, which is the Artist Roundtable. And Let It Out, which is on Sunday. And I think that those still embody a lot of the ideals. I mean, they still keep to the mantra, the mission of Comics Cast. They've been our like bread and butter. They've been our success, and it's been a success for, I think, our guests. And part of the success is because there's nothing veiled about what we do. It's all about promoting our guests. I don't gain anything from it. You don't either. What I do gain is that relationship. I've met so many people, met so many talented artists, writers, inkers, storytellers. I think that has been a blessing. I think that that's what Comics Cast has always been about, not only meeting these people, but promoting them. And I think that we're going to continue that. And I think that you kind of revealed what I guess our original mission was, Comics Cast as the show aspect. That was always a means to an ultimate goal, and the ultimate goal was kind of like just sort of like kept in the back, because we kind of need to build those relationships first. And I think that now we are in September. We have those relationships, and we can kind of like go back to that original goal. And
right, which I'm ready to say what actually our process and what we're doing is live on air. I'm ready to finally say what we're doing. But why don't we, before we do that, can we help me out, go from the beginning, how many people we've had that's been a part of Comics Cast?
Oh wow, I mean, we've had
Jason.
Yeah, Jason has been with us, and Mike Roach
Mike Roach is still with us. He wrote an article for us that's going to be out about the good doctor. So we'll promote that on our website. Yeah,
and Mike he's like the unsung hero right now. We kind of like been wanting to use him for a lot of things, and it sort of like was the cart before the horse. We need to get the cart, which is the website.
Which is the website, exactly.
Yeah, or is it the horse? I screwed that whole thing up. Anyway, we need to get that in line first, so that way he could write content for it, so we could get that kind of get those articles, get those reviews, get a more professional spin in terms of what we do on ART and Let It Out, where we're just doing the conversational part of it. We wanted to have those articles written to support that, and drive content to the website. And the videos that we've been doing, those are all going to be hosted, are going to be referenced on the website, and that'll be part of the larger platform that is that mission that you're talking about. And I'm sure you're gonna allude. I mean, or
a little bit, yeah.
But
You're stalling. You don't want to use people's names, and I know
no.
this trash can here keeps wasting our time. This freaking Armando.
Yeah, that's true.
Armando has been one of the most influential creators. I've been around since long before I started this platform. I met him on Instagram, and he is absolutely politically completely polar opposites of me. But you know what's so great about that, and then what I love about our platform is that none of that matters.
Exactly.
It's about the indie creators. Nobody cares. Do you love what you're doing? Are you trying to make cool stuff? Are you not stopping somebody else from making cool stuff? I love it. Armando is one of the best.
Yes.
He's like a brother of mine from another mother that on the internet, we had never even met each other, but I feel like family, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's precisely it. I think that when it comes down to it, it is about independent creative content. Politics aside, religion aside, beliefs aside, as long as the core belief that everybody at Comics Cast and all of our guests have is that it's all about the comic content, independent comic content, having something to offer that's beyond the big boxes and the other companies, the larger companies. It's telling the stories that can't be told because of gatekeeping or focus groups or things like that.
At the end of the day, let's be real. Like, with or without us, those stories are going to be told.
Yes.
Now, all we're trying to do is make it easier for people to find you. That's it.
Right.
That's it. At the end of the day, that's why we're here.
Yes.
But you're still stalling. Come on, go back to come on, give us some names.
Oh, well, we also have Faye.
Faye, Faye Kennedy.
Faye has always been super talented. I'm at to say she is a charismatic person. She definitely brought a new flavor to our content. We also had James Dean Anderson, who was also he was one of the guys that helped us out from the very beginning.
I'll talk about James Dean a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
You know what? So James Dean and I, we differed in what we wanted to do with the platform a little bit. Were we going to go controversy to get views? Our end goal was the same. How do we build up fan bases, right? And it just didn't work out. We just didn't want to go the same paths, but we were just like, you know what? You got your thing, I got my thing. We'll just keep going forward. So huge thanks to everything that James Dean has done for us. He's been great, but he just had his own thing he wanted to do, his own way, and we parted, and everybody was good, and no hard feelings on that at all.
Yeah, and we did mention Jason, who's still just on hiatus for now because he had
is like at the what is it, the Solitude, what is that, Superman Solitude,
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, he gets a Fortress of Solitude soaking in like fucking sun rays. So you got me cursing.
Don't censor us, sir.
Oh my god, it's my own, but
Jason has been great. He just had he had family things that, and that's another thing too.
So many family things. People have their own
problems. We have lives. We have things.
The last year I had the worst. I had 3 months of us while we were doing this. I had terrible stuff that was going on, and I wanted to give up on all this, and not because I didn't love doing this, but because my job was so stressful. And I know you've gone through a lot of stuff, but I mean, it's been tough for everybody. We do love what we do, and we keep driving forward. But yeah, I mean, and then you just got to change with the wins. I know we're missing some people. Who else are we missing?
I mentioned Rick. I mentioned Jason, and
I think that might be it.
What I want to say too is that we talked a little bit about the relationships and people that we met along the way.
Yeah.
I think that's,
you can't be grateful if you're not grateful for.
I was going to say is that some of our guests have moved beyond just being our former guests. They've become contributors. They've become guest fill-in hosts. I mean, they've basically filled in when life happens, and sometimes our hosts things happens and we can't be on a show, and we've had. I'm gonna give a shout out to Alton. Alton.
Yeah, I was gonna say
from Vampires of New Jersey. He helped out plenty of times. Been filled in as a co-host in emergencies. And he has a great story too. I would not have met him. And then we talk about some of the other guests that we've met. I mean, everybody from David Whalen to Lee Giles. Lee Giles.
Lee Giles.
That was one of those things. Is that Lee had already a following with his own group.
With his own group, and I was going to be like, okay, so should we tell that story? It's pretty.
Yeah,
funny.
well, I'm just going to give a short summation.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, you could probably tell it better, but the bottom line is, we met Lee, and Lee already had an established group. He had followers.
Was burned out.
It was one of those things, is that part of the Comics Cast mission was also to unify those groups, those independent, anybody that was promoting independent creators, and finding a way that we can get under one umbrella, so we can just give a more focused, get more eyes on something. And unfortunately, it was like Facebook was conspiring to not let us merge. We couldn't merge.
Yeah.
Like,
so I was going to be like, what is that? Galactus, right? And I had this idea in my head. I was like, I can just swallow up small groups here, little group here, little group there, and we'll be at 10,000.
That sounds a little ominous. It was more about, I like to say that it's unifying us under an umbrella for a greater cause. I mean, I think that's the way that we look at it.
I was hungry for power. No, I met Lee and we talked. He was doing the same thing. He was really promoting indie creations. He had like 1,500 people on his page. I was like, yeah, let's unify our pages. You'll come under the Comics Cast group. You'll be one of the founding fathers. We'll move forward. It'll be great. Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it.
See, that's another thing about Lee, is that not only is Lee a great artist.
He's an amazing artist. He blew me away. I didn't know he was so good.
But he's also, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a publisher too, right? He had people that he would, and see, that was another thing that I just totally, I think people think comics, it's the penciler, it's the inker, colorist, writer, or whatever. But there's publishers, there's distributors. I mean, there's all sorts of, it's a larger picture, and they're all pushing creative content. And Lee was not only promoting himself, he was helping push content from other independent creators and getting their books published. He has I think a printing background. So this is another example of a guest who had brought a lot to the table, and we were lucky to have him kind of bring some of his group. Unfortunately, Facebook didn't allow us to merge things.
I'm still an admin on his page. It's just so funny that Facebook would not let us merge. I don't understand why. Facebook doesn't necessarily have like a 1-800 helpline. Nope. So I can't figure out how to make it work. I'd love to get to 10,000 as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
because everybody would like to get paid.
Yeah,
these great huge cons. I'd love for all that money to go to people that are running those things, that are sitting in their asses in those chairs for all day long. That would be phenomenal. But it's just not where we're at yet.
Well, I think that's the thing too, is that our intention, I think it wasn't to make money out of this. I mean, we knew that if something were to happen later on, that would be a blessing that would come from the fruits of our labor. But it's always been about, we're doing this out of because we love it. We love our guests, we love the content, and it's just we want to be able to bring that to the masses if we can.
I mean, you got to see, what was it? I mean, I gotta say, so how amazing was this? Like within a few months of us doing this started because I started doing fan art in the morning. I had a little extra time, so I started waking up at 4 in the morning.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
and doing fan art, and then it was like, oh, people like this, so I'll just keep doing it. But then, like within a few months, like 2 months, I met like David Finch on like a live stream.
Amazing.
All my work. I was like, what is this madness? Like, so it just really shows that, giving, and it seems so freaking lame, but like giving to other people will come back. And the amount of networking that we've done, I think really is going to take us to the next stage that we want to do, which I think we're at now. Ready? You tell one more story, and then after this, we'll talk about what the next step is for Comics Cast, what we're doing, and then we'll shut down the thing. So at the very end, we're going to talk about what's next for Comics Cast.
Okay.
And then we'll shut it down. So everyone knows at the end of the stream. You can go to the end of the stream, and you can get what's next for Comics Cast.
Okay, so you want me to tell one more story about?
Yeah, one more story.
Okay, one more story. I could not do this memory lane walkthrough that we've had this last year without mentioning Justin Acosta and Borbane. And I tell you, that was another phenomenal talent that I think he showed up on ART first. And he was one of, and
God, he was so good.
If anybody, I guess let me talk about it for those who haven't maybe watched, and shame on you if you haven't seen. ART is Artist Roundtable, and yeah, thank you very much for subscribing. ART is Artist Roundtable, and that's basically the whole premise of Artist Roundtable is not just artists. It's basically anybody. Independent the creators could get together and hopefully we'd have this cross conversation, and it could be writers, inkers, colorists, publishers, etc. And basically, actually, the more diverse they were in terms of like if they not being able to work on maybe they were in a different genre or they didn't work on the same book together. That way, that was the thing, is that they could talk about their IPs, their OCs, and even meet each other. It was networking. They could talk and learn about each other's projects. And Justin was on one of the shows, and I think all of us were like making jokes is that he looks like Jason Momoa. He could be like his stunt double. He could be like his brother. We kind of all joked around about that. I think it was around when the whole Aquaman and Justice League type thing. And anyway, he was this is an example of the reach, the type of people that we meet, and how geography is no longer something that you need to.
Time zones.
Yes, time zones.
No.
Yeah, well, time zones are another issue, but let's Justin, great guy, great independent content, but his art is
not just like top level, like pro level.
Yes,
art.
I'm we're getting to that. Yeah, the guy is phenomenal story, and and then he mentioned his artist. And I think Faye was hosting that with you, and I was in the background fanning, watching this whole thing. And then when I saw the art for Borbane, which is his I was like, I've seen that art before. And it turned out I was a fan of his artist, and his artist is not even in the United States. Marius is in the Philippines. He's it's a totally different, like it's on the other side of the planet. And this is what blows my mind. As we meet these people, meet these creators, as we have these guests on there, not only are we exposed to such phenomenal talent on all levels, but it's not even just in the United States. I mean, we talked about Rick. Rick is in Denmark. He's been able to co-host with me on a couple of shows, on a few of the Let It Out shows. Denmark. We've had guest Pat O'Donnell in England. Faye, she's in England too. It's amazing to me, the reach, and that's what I love about this. I mean, the fact that we can connect with creators, independent creators all over the world, all over the United States, anywhere, and be able to share that, that experience with everybody through Facebook, through YouTube. So that's been my payment. You and I aren't getting paid for any of this stuff. And I think that's the whole point of it, is that we never intended to. It's been the joy. It's the sheer joy of being able to do this for fellow creators. And I've grown and learned and been inspired by so many of the people that we've had on ART. And of course, the other show that we do on Sunday, which is Let It Out. And, Let It Out has double meanings. It's lead, like pencil lead, but it's also like,
now, who came up with that idea?
Now, I'm going to have to say is that's all Faye. Faye came
up with that. There it is. I was curious if you were going to take ownership of that.
Grew. I think we had another name before that. James, I think, originally came up with a name, and then it kind of evolved. And then Faye came up with Let It Out, and it stuck. Such a brilliant play on words. Let It Out. We were leading, I guess, led. There's like double meanings and stuff like that. But it's been a great experience, because through that show, we get to draw along with. It's no longer a series of guests. It's usually just one artist. And, we've kind of broadened it out. Sometimes it'll be an artist and a writing team. But the original one is that Jason and I, my partner in crime, co-host, that's sort of on our hiatus right now. What we would do is we would not only get a chance to know the artist, it's more of a more intimate one-on-one type thing where we can kind of talk a little bit to the artist, but we get to draw along with them. And we get to, our audience gets to see, get a flavor for their style, their art style. We get to learn about their OC, their original characters, their intellectual property. Just sort of, we get to plug them, and it's kind of like it gives you a chance to look over the shoulder of an upcoming artist and get to see what they're about.
Yep.
And
in real time.
In real time. And that you know, and I said I was only telling one story, but I gotta like say one more. You know, that was Justin and Marius, you know. But the one thing, one other guest, and I would kick myself if I didn't mention this, because he was my very first guest, Mr. Brian Silverbacks.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Brian is a.
How can we not mention Brian? Oh, man.
That's why I'm mentioning it now. Brian was my first guest on Let It Out before it was even called Let It Out. In fact, he was telling us he schooled us. He pretty much told me, it's like, you got to come up with a better name. You got to come up with. In fact, when I was joking around, it was our first show, and we were still trying to come up with that template to kind of like show how are we going to do the live drawing, what are we going to draw, what size are we going to draw, you know, and Brian schooled me in a positive way. This guy is streaming every day. If
he
not
is now, he is now.
He streams like. If not once a day, maybe twice a day sometimes. And another phenomenal artist. I was happy to participate in one of his art contests to launch his Loggerhead IP or OC. And he's got like ideas that are just coming out of his ears.
Whole Avengers, Unify Universe. He wants
to do a whole universe. I mean, the guy is an idea machine.
And not only ideas, though, he is delivering. He's delivering content. Yeah. And anyone who's watching, you guys need to check that out.
Yeah, and now
he's always streaming. He knows how to like do digital coloring, inking, and he has a technique. Well, not to get too much out in the weeds here, but he has a technique where he can transfer a digital sketch to a finished ink, and then how he brings the traditional inks back into the digital space.
I know his technique is he knocks his digital inks, but I think his digital inks are nice, but he likes traditional inks. So what he does is he illustrates like maybe like does his rough, and then he like prints it out. Then he does traditional inks, and then he scans it, and then he does like digital colors. And I tell you, I've learned a lot just like watching it. And it's not just his techniques. The guy is a personality. He has a certain style and a delivery that no one else that puts independent comic creation content on YouTube or Facebook, very, very different. And it's endearing. You know, you feel like you're in there with him, and you can kind of like get a sense for his personality. And he is always personality. And he's always moving, always an idea, always something coming at him. So these are just, you know, Brian, Justin, Marius, Lee, David Whalen. There's so many.
Small number.
All of our guests have left have impacted and inspired me. And I
always say the door is always open for them to come back every single time. Every single one, the door is always open. And that's the same thing with CRoM CON and other people. I messaged Pops offline. I said, hey, I'll leave the lights on, you know. So that being said, okay. So this is the thing that, so if you haven't, I just want to make sure that I'm trying to do this because I'm not a YouTube person. So trying to make this part of my vocabulary. You know, whenever you watch YouTube, they say, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button, all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do that. That's important. So do that, and then I'll go in. So this is the next stage of Comics Cast. So we discussed earlier, we did the whole video streaming and all that. We never intended to get paid for it. We never try to find a way to get paid or make people pay us to get on it, or make people do super chats or anything like that, right?
It'd be nice to get monetized.
I was like, we gotta let's just get the platform to do it. If we can get the platform to do it, cool. If not, cool. Because this is the thing. This is the thing, and I sold this on, I think Gerald was the first one I ever told this idea I had. And I named it the wrong thing because there's no way we could do it with the name. The original business name I wanted to do this under was Icon, but we're not doing that because Icon, there's no way I can get agreement to do Icon. So the deal is Comics Cast, what we're going to do is, if you don't know, we've got over, what would you say, 100 hours of digital content. Maybe less than that, maybe 40 hours.
And that's just once we hooked it up to YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of Facebook stuff that's hasn't even been migrated to YouTube, and there was a lot of stuff that you did that was back when it was called I think it was Comic Arts with a Z.
Comic Arts with a Z.
It was Icon, Comic Arts, and then it became Comics Cast, and now Indie Comics Cast. So there's tons of content that we've
tons of content on the Facebook channel that you can go see right now.
Yes.
All right? So that being said, we have built a playlist of different shows, of different episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to go to our final form. If you're a Dragon Ball Z person, this is where we were going with it. And yes. Did we have a business mind? Yes. Did we look at a goal where we would make money? Yes. Make money because at the end of the day, the purpose again is to make the indie creator their own professional, their own quote unquote icon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. No, Niobe, he's throwing it out there. Hey, brother, man, how you doing, man? You're a little late. You're gonna have to watch the stream like everyone else. You missed the first part, but anyway, we're getting to the final form. Kind of what I talked about on your show. Kind of killed my own thunder, but that's fine. So where we're going with it is what was from the very beginning. We are going to make a Netflix style app. That will have all of our shows on it. It will have interactive cons built into it. So if you'll have interactive cons and past cons that you can watch. You'll have episodes just like what we're doing now, where we're talking about different indie creators. We'll have creator spotlights. So all that is important. All that will be on there. And then the final thing is getting those digital comics. Getting those digital comics and then connection with the comic creators so they can print on demand as requested. They can sell it to you, whatever. So the big difference between what we're creating, what anyone else is creating, is that it's literally going to be a monthly payment, very small amount to have access to everything, all the comics. So I want 100 comic library before I even launch. That is the next stage of Comics Cast, is creating Comics Cast, the app that allows the audience to have a library of all of these things that they can access for $5 a month. And what that allows is our job, what creators' jobs is to get as many people on this platform as possible, because I want to make sure that people that are creating comics, that are getting on the platform, that are selling comics and bringing people on the platform, that they get paid.
Yeah, and it's
like in Netflix or whatever else, the ones that are bringing people on the thing that are getting downloaded, guess what? They're going to get paid more because they're building content, and they're going to get rewarded because they're bringing people on the site. Everyone, at the end of the day, it's about making sure that everybody gets paid, and we redefine what the landscape of indie production is.
Yeah,
indie survival is, and this will only be indie products. This is not going to be, well, okay. I'm going to make one exception, only because for some reason I have we're Facebook friends. I think at the bottom line, we're Facebook friends. If Meredith Finch wants to be on this platform, I will make an exception because I think she's one step removed from David Finch, so I think it's going to be okay. But other than that, the focus is to make sure that these are indie creators that are on this platform, and that we highlight them, that we do spotlights on them, that we spotlight people that are on it. So when you open up this app, you can see shows based on different creators that have comics on the app. So that being said, there's only so many of us at Comics Cast. We don't have time to do everything. So we're going to start moving away from regular scheduled programming and really focus on building it and talking to all the people that we've talked to at this point. Because really, that's what it's always been about, is networking. Networking. So this is the next step.
Right.
And obviously, I did it because I'm lazy. I just finally got my system up, so now I'm not going to do shows. I've got the system up, and I'm not going to be doing shows every weekend. But that being said, I have artwork to do, so we'll still get on. We're still going to show our artwork. We're going to still talk to people. If you guys want to, like Jimmy Ray's, he's got a he's got his big launch is coming up soon.
Any day now.
Niobe Comics is coming out with a big thing, so which should have launched today, but it might be tomorrow or the next day. I think we're all flexible to like do shows to help out, but I don't want to spend the time networking and finding people and grabbing them and doing all that because we just don't have the manpower for it. I really want to hunker down and work on this website and make this thing a reality and start making this work. So that's the focus. That's the next stage. That's what we're doing now. How do you feel about that getting out in the world there, Gerald?
Well, I think it was bound to get out. I wish that we had a little bit more to show for it, but the concept is there. And now you guys who are watching, you heard it first. It's an extension basically of what we've already been doing since what, March, February, late February, early March till now. It's now we've gotten some of these relationships. I think that it'd be nice to go back to some of our guests and say, hey, you guys, would you like to be on this new platform? And that invitation would be to anybody, any independent creator to go there. But now we have video, we have videos to support some of those guests that we've had that we'll have. And I think that's the larger picture. I think when you were telling me about this idea that you had, there's so much room for growth for this in terms of how, aside from the comic and aside from like the video that we've already done with some of our guests, there's so much flexibility that we can see for the creator in terms of being able to manage it themselves and being able to promote themselves. It's on a single platform. You don't have to go through multiple things, and it's digitally delivered. And if they do want to do a print on demand, that's an option as well. And we want to be able to still be an extension of what we are doing to promote those guests on our shows. We're gonna try and promote them, through this platform as well, or not try. That's one of the objectives. And whether it's come up with some graphic support, helping them get banners or things like that. I mean, there was a much larger plan. I think we had so many epic brainstorms in terms of how we could take this Netflix style platform and grow it. And I think that that's what we want to do. It's just we still want to promote all these independent creators, and we want them to get paid for it as well. And I think that that's what our deal is. We really want to be able to just give them an opportunity and grow with them. And it would also give us, I think Joe and I we are also want to be independent creators too. We have ideas and books and things that we want to produce.
Well, we've already got scripts written, but somebody doesn't want to draw them. But that's fine. It's fine. I think
that was a shot towards me. And I think that
Blood, Bow, and Axe, I think we wrote it like within the first week that we thought about doing this, and we were like, you know what, we'll do this whole thing. We'll show you guys the process. But guess what? We're still learning. Like, I'm still learning. I love what I'm doing. He's still learning. Like, we weren't ready to do that many carries at one time.
Well, I think we've grown.
We have grown. You're amazing. Like, you're just anyway.
But I think this is the thing. It's everything has been leading up to this point.
Everything has been.
I think that if we had done some of the things much earlier, I don't think that we would have had. I use that the cart before the horse analogy. I think there was a necessary growth. There was a necessary relationship part where we had to meet people. There was an inspiration thing where we actually got to meet people and they inspired us, other guests. Heck, there was even like moments of just personal challenges that we've all had to deal with. And I've learned a lot of things too. How to be, we were talking about professionalism. We were talking about growth. We were talking about just being, we've seen a lot of ugliness out there as well. And I think that that's things that we don't want to be like that. We want to keep things positive at Comics Cast. And bottom line is this next phase, sounds like we're talking about MCU, like phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be the realization of a much larger dream that Joe shared with me. And I was completely taken by it. And I hope our guests and everybody that's watching this, and you're going to see the fruits of that, the maturation of fruits that.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I'm just trying to say that there's going to be something bigger.
Fruit on the vine.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm very bad at telling stories and coming up with really.
Well, but at the end of the day, like there are concerns. How do we go about getting guys on this platform? You know, I've been looking at this problem since the first moment I had the idea for Icon, and then I was told independent comics on net doesn't make any sense, and on top of that, you can't afford to pay for that word. Oh yeah. Gerald does a mean Mojo sketch. Yes, he does. He doesn't mean a lot of sketches. This dude's badass. But like, so the biggest challenge is always going to be, how do we build the trust to have creators put their stuff on the platform?
Absolutely.
Because every creator deserves to get paid. Everyone who puts work in deserves to get paid for their business. So in no way am I is this a scam to get people on to then get a bunch of people to pay $5 a month and then I put it in my pocket? You know, this is all a learning curve. Been putting a lot of thought into it. I just think this is really the next stage. I've heard a lot of people say, no, you can't do it. No, it doesn't work. No, there's no money in independent comics. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I don't care that it hasn't been done. But you know what? We're going to be the first freaking people to do it. Gerald and Joe, we're going to be the last one standing who said, you know what? We're going to do it. And then when it's done and it's standing up and we got this thing going, Jason's going to come out of his solitude. He's going to be like, I'm back, baby. I'm like, you know what? I could have used your help building that website, Jake. Whatever. Anyway, I love Jason. I give him a hard time, though. But yeah, it's going to be tough. There's not going to be an easy answer. I've never been a big fan of crowdfunding, but it may be the answer here so that we're not looking at being, I'm not in $60,000 in debt to try to like get people to get on the platform. So we'll see what happens. First things first, we got to build it. Just like you build the diamond and they'll come. You know, all you old people out there, they know the reference.
Yeah.
So I got to build it. Gerald, and as long as we're not working on other stuff, we can really focus on that because I want this to be clean. I want it to be really a great platform. I want it to be an app that people want to go get because it really feeds that nerd, that love of story of indie creators. And so when people build a book and they put it out in the world, they can put it on our platform and they can get paid, like literally paid for what they do. So it incentivizes people to make books in a month and be, you know what? I made this book in a month. Our team did this. Guess what? Here's $20,000. Here's $15,000. Here's $8,000. I'm going down because I'm realizing you're not going to start on that, right? You're going to go down. But I really want this to be a platform that allows people to make product and sell product right then and there and be their own, make themselves professional based on their professional ethical work ethic. You know what I mean? So like if they can push it out, they get it out, they're going to get paid. So I think it works right now. We got some amazing artists that we've talked to that are working the indie crowdfunding scene. More power to them. I love that it's working for them. But for me, as I'm looking at my own shortcomings, right? So I love comics. And I will tell you right now, I've purchased very few Kickstarters off of indie whatever, but I love buying books. If I could see a book in front of me, I've bought plenty of digital books. The purpose of this is, again, to unify everyone's fan base, to build new fan bases, and the biggest one, to bring in the quote unquote, like you'll hear on YouTube, the normies, the ones that didn't think that they were going to be huge, comic book nerds. They're like, oh, I don't want to go to a comic book store. Oh, I don't want to spend $15 in a book. But if you were to give them $5 and give them access to hundreds of books, that's a game changer. Yeah. I think we have to go digital download for this stuff. I didn't want to tell anyone else about it because I know now it's going to be a race. But at the end of the day, like I told Gerald before, even if we fail and somebody else does it, it doesn't matter because it got done.
Yeah.
So that's all I care about at the end of the day. So that's it, man. That's all I got. I ranted. I appreciated the past. I love. Thank you for everything you've done, Gerald. I know we've sort of been just sort of plugging along, and every once in a while I'll call you and be like, I need a graphic. And you're like, really, dude? Like, really? Right now? I'm like, yes. Yes, right now, yes.
Hey, well, like I said, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love it. And I think that, everything that's happened before us is kind of like water on the bridge now. We got to look forward, we look, and we want to be positive. I mean, I think that I got nothing but love for every part of this journey that we've been on together. Sure, we've had some sour patches and some rough spots, but you know what? Everybody's intention was good. I don't think anybody was being shady or trying to be. We're human. we all have like our little shortcomings and things like that. But I got nothing but love for everybody, and we just got to be positive. And I still want to continue that mission that you sold me on. That's why I'm still here, and we want to bring that product to creators. And that way, when the creators get their stuff on there, they'll bring it to the masses, and then we're gonna have that shared experience that everybody can enjoy.
Awesome. Yep. And one last note: Jason Flowers here. We did not say anything about Jason Flowers. He's a beast. He's an Ink-Watch master. He loves turtles.
Yes.
He does his own streaming. You should go check him out. We did not talk about him, but he's kind of a relative newcomer into sort of the Comics Cast fandom. And when I say fandom, I mean we're fans of his. So I appreciate what he does. And whenever I can get on his show and watch what he does, it's always fun.
Oh, he's gonna be. I'm gonna talk about Jason a little bit. We're gonna. I've already been talking to him. He just wrapped debuting like 4 new sketchbooks.
Yeah, he did that during CRoM CON. I was really upset about that. I wanted to give him a little waggy finger on that. But I was like, you're doing that during our show. What are you doing?
I watched his last show, unfortunately, because I couldn't watch it during the first 3. But he's going to be launching his bounty
yes
frog that's going to be coming out this month, and so a little bit of a hint or just a little bit of a plug. We're going to have him probably toward the end of the month on Let It Out or ART. I don't know which one, but I had such a good time having him on the show as well, and he's a phenomenal talent. And it'd be great to have him again. And again, these are the experiences of the people the creators that I meet. Every show is a blessing. Get to meet so many talented people, and that's what we want to do. We want to bring this talent to more people. And this platform, phase two, that's what's going to happen. That's what we want to do that and help.
Phase 3 is when we're doing this. We're taking money out of the bank, and we got all the creators right here. We're just doing this. Phase 3. We may never get to phase 3, but we're definitely going to phase 2, baby.
Definitely.
Fun. But no, thank you so much, guys. Gerald, thank you for being on. I was just sort of ranting, and I would have had a way to get on direction on that. But amazing, you guys coming on. We're hitting a 1 hour and 8 minutes. Some other people would go on for 4 hours. That's not our style. We go between 1 hour and 3, or 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, unless Gerald's on.
It's like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. For me, I get tired. So I'll get off. I've got websites to build. As you guys know, probably by checking out my personal page. I'm working on a website. So learn the website, building website, doing it. So we're crushing it. That's what we're doing. And now Gerald and I are going to work together on that. We got Jason coming up. We got Alton all weekend. To really focus on his creation. So 10 a.m. on Saturday, 10 a.m. on Sunday. That's Pacific Standard Time.
That's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for both. ART tomorrow. Let It Out on Sunday. Check out the Facebook reminder. We're gonna have Bob Heron, who worked with Alton on a cover for Vampires of New Jersey, but we get to see some of his own original characters. So please check that out on Sunday. But yeah, future's bright. I got nothing, like I said, nothing but love for each and every experience. Joy in everything, no matter if it was a good experience. A challenge or something that was, like just a joy, so everything is we want to keep it positive. So Comics Cast phase 2 coming at you. You'll see it in the next few months. All right,
guys, peace out.
Be
good.